Your Majesty, Excellencies, good evening. It is a pleasure to welcome once again Prime Minister Shinzo Abe to the Philippines. On behalf of the ASEAN, I offer warmest congratulations to Prime Minister Abe on his party's decisive victory in Japan's general election last month, as well as his re-election as Japan's Prime Minister. ASEAN-Japan relations have matured into a strategic partnership for peace and stability, prosperity, quality of life, and mutual trust and understanding. We can trace the beginnings of today's robust ASEAN-Japan relations to 1977, when the Fukuda Doctrine veered Japan's foreign policy approach towards a heart-to-heart relationship with the region based on equal partnership. And 40 years later, Japan has become one of Asia's strongest political dialogue partners and steadfast supporter of ASEAN centrality and community building. I give special thanks to Prime Minister Abe, whose vision for East Asia respects the ASEAN's role in the regional architecture while espousing Japan's proactive contribution to peace as a fundamental security principle. In this light, we can expect a good executive report of the progress of the vision statement of ASEAN-Japan Friendship Cooperation, which we adopted in 2013. Considering the allotted time for our meeting, I would like now to call on Prime Minister Abe to deliver his opening remarks. You have the floor, Your Excellency.
Only 2 weeks ago, I welcomed President Duterte in Japan. I'm so grateful for the warm hospitality as I see him again here in Manila. I am also delighted to see again the ASEAN leaders here. At the outset, I'd like to express my congratulations on the 50th anniversary of the founding of ASEAN. I'd like to pay my tribute to the success of ASEAN as an entity to lead the regional cooperative frameworks while accomplishing an outstanding economic development. ASEAN that has developed as a rule-based community sharing values and norms in diversity is providing a model for the world as it advanced its cooperation in the spirit of tolerance and harmony. In 2013, for my first overseas trip as the Prime Minister of Japan, I chose the countries of Southeast Asia. In so doing, I presented 5 principles of Japan's ASEAN diplomacy. During that year, I visited all of the ASEAN member countries. At the Japan-ASEAN Commemorative Leaders Meeting held in Japan in December of the same year, I pledged to provide ODA to the tune of 2 trillion yen in 5 years in order to contribute to deepening the integration of the ASEAN community. It's been 4 years since, and I'd like to convey to you here today that this promise was all delivered. Already in Southeast Asia, democracy, rule of law, and market economy have taken root, and confidence, responsibility, and leadership are nurtured. It is important now that ASEAN has become the main actor of the world. We must extend the success of ASEAN to the entire region of Indo-Pacific and induce further potential of this region. In the 50 years ahead, what I expect is that ASEAN, facing 2 oceans of Indian and Pacific, jointly lead the world based upon the achievements made hitherto to develop the international order that is free and open, founded on the rule of law. Japan will strongly push forward ASEAN by exercising leadership so that integration goes even further as a community. Furthermore, we will cooperate in creating a resilient society where all peoples of the region can exhibit in freedom their potential to the full, enjoy peace and prosperity based on the rule of law, and be able to actually feel the quality of life without inequalities. In the process of further development, ASEAN won't be able to avoid the challenges that Japan encountered hitherto, like aging with low fertility, environment, energy, and so on. Japan will proactively share with the ASEAN our knowledge and experience that we have gained until now, and through cooperation with you both on hard and soft aspects, such as quality infrastructure upgrading, sophistication of industrial structure, and human resource development, so that we can cooperate for the entire ASEAN development. ASEAN's cooperation for the next 5 years has already begun. Under the partners in 4 areas, which was announced in 2013 at the Japan-ASEAN Commemorative Leaders Meeting, bearing in mind the collaboration with international organizations like ADB, Japan will render cooperation for the realization of more integrated community, resorting to all available tools with our public and private sectors acting in unison. In the area of partners for peace and stability, we will work for the substantial upgrading of HRD, provision of supplies, and intellectual contribution in the member countries in order to develop free and open international orders based on the rule of law. In so doing, we will implement cooperation at the tune of 55 billion yen in the coming 3 years, for the purpose of enhancing maritime law enforcement capacity. Likewise, we will do capacity building support and training by Japan Coast Guard and SDF, as well as training in cooperation with RECAP. In response to the rising threat of terrorism in Asia, we continue to assist ASEAN nations in the domain of terrorism and violent extremism. While we cooperate in reconstruction efforts in Malawi, the Philippines, we will also cooperate so as to support the works of the government of Myanmar toward the improved situation in Rakhine State. In the security field, under the Bienchang Vision, which is a guideline for the Japan-ASEAN Defense Cooperation, practical defense cooperation be strengthened. In the area of partners for prosperity, I wish to promote free trade by clearly presenting the importance of free and open trade and investment. In Asia-Pacific, we will aim at realizing early entry into force of TPP and pursue comprehensive, well-balanced and high-quality RCEP, leading into the creation of FTAP. With respect to AJCEP agreement, negotiations on revised protocol concluded after 7 years of negotiation. I welcome this major outcome and hope for early signing. Japan in ASEAN is promoting enhanced connectivity and improved industrial infrastructure by investing in quality infrastructure. To be specific, under the quality infrastructure export expansion initiative, both public and private sectors will provide funds of about $200 billion in 5 years from now to mainly Asia, but also to the entire world, thus working on projects for quality infrastructure contributing to improved connectivity. In addition to quality, we will continue to expediting yen loan projects. We wish to see the early conclusion of Japan-ASEAN Technical Cooperation Agreement, which was agreed upon at the Japan-ASEAN Foreign Ministers meeting in August, and expand the support tools. At the same time, we wish to contribute to the Master Plan on Connectivity impact led by ASEAN. We will be promoting our work on quality infrastructure that is in accordance with the international standards, such as being open, transparent, economically viable, as well as ensuring the fiscal soundness of the recipient country. We also will promote innovation where Japanese and ASEAN companies collaborate, and will support so that the companies of ASEAN are not left behind the economic growth and strong SMEs are created one after another. Furthermore, I'd like to note that bilateral currency swap arrangement where yen withdrawal is possible was concluded for the first time with the Philippines. I hope this to cover other countries so as to seek financial stability within the region. In the areas of partners for quality of life, we will be working on the new challenges that ASEAN will face going forward, assisted by area and others. For example, on aging. Through Asia Health and Human Wellbeing Well-being Initiative, we in Japan would like to realize a society in Asia where people just don't live long but can enjoy healthy longevity. Another effort is through Japan-ASEAN Environmental Initiative to cooperate for building recycling-oriented society so that sustainable development goals are also attained. In other areas of science and technology, disaster risk reduction, and health, we want to share our knowledge. In the field of heart-to-heart partners, I note that the genesis that I presented in 2007 has marked the 10th year this year. About 30,000 young people exchanged in this program. In the Cultural War project, more than 2.1 million artists and persons of culture exchanged. In the Japanese language partners too, there are good outcomes like sending 600 people per annum. Furthermore, in October of this year, Japan-ASEAN sports ministers meeting was held for the first time. Going forward, I wish to see more exchanges in the sports field and greater penetration of Olympic and Paralympic movements. Through such educational, cultural, and people-to-people exchanges, I sincerely wish to see greater mutual trust as heart-to-heart partners between Japan and ASEAN. Nuclear and missile issues of North Korea is a grave and imminent threat that we have never experienced. We need to make North Korea change their policy by enhancing the pressure applied to North Korea to the highest level by all available means, including the full implementation of the Security Council's resolutions. Thank you.
Thank you, Excellency, for your kind words.